I use the McDonald's case study with my children to kind of explain, inflation and the impact that it's had over my lifetime. And I'll regularly challenge my kids and I'll say, hey, how much does it cost to purchase a McDonald's value meal today? And of course, I'm not endorsing McDonald's here. And so my family really doesn't eat McDonald's, but they'll simply say, Dad, yeah, it costs about $9.5 for a McDonald's value meal. And I say, okay, when I was your age as a teenager, which is now 30, some years ago, that same McDonald's value meal cost me $3, right? And so my point being is that let's fast forward another 30 years from now. So now my children are my age, right? That McDonald's value meal is going to cost $27. If you don't believe it, just watch what's going to happen, over history. And maybe it costs more than that. So this kind of concept of, the inflation monster is a real impact. And I'd like for you to maybe add some color to this, but I think a lot of times people, feel like, or families feel like they're doing everything right on paper. They've got a good income, they save diligently, they're contributing to retirement, but they still feel left behind. Does that resonate?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's the biggest thing that everybody feels and is talking about, and you see it everywhere. And I hear it when I'm talking to folks that are trying to buy houses or folks that are trying to get ahead financially, and it's definitely all over the internet. But yeah, there's absolutely an understanding for young families that, like, why did that work for my parents and whoever else, and it's not working for us. And so there's this disconnect, which kind of creates, like, a little bit of distrust. Like, who do I listen to? And there's so much stuff on the internet now, and it's like, you got to do Airbnb, you got to do flips, you got to do wholesales, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do drop shipping and multi-level marketing. And it's just, you're just don't know what to do. So it creates paralysis analysis. But the other layer that makes it even worse is that it did on some level work for the older generations, and the older generations communicate to the younger generations. A lot of it is kind of, hey, you need to suck it up. You just need to save. Like I did it. It's not that hard. You clearly must not be saving enough. And the older generations aren't trying to be, they're not trying to be, they're not trying to talk down to anybody. But 90s financial advice as a whole does have a very condescending, putative, disrespectful tone to it, which is like, you need to lock it up, control your expenses, figure it out. If you aren't making enough, clearly you're doing something wrong, because we all know your income is fine. And 90s financial advice preaches a lot: budget every month and control your expenses. And you can't control your expenses. You can't control the price of gas and taxes and insurance and exit the grocery store and rent and your mortgage. You can't control any of that. So this idea that you're supposed to control it's like in elementary school, you play that game. Is it the limbo, right? Where you have to, like, duck under the stick, right? So 90s financial advice is like, look, if the stick's too low, you just go lower. And that assumes that you have a bunch of junk and surplus in your budget where you're spending money where you shouldn't. It doesn't 90s financial advice does not fundamentally understand or account for inflation. They don't get it. They don't understand it. And none of their philosophy or their methodology deals with it. And so it's just, and so it's very frustrating. And so again, you've got these families that are working hard, doing everything right. They're not getting ahead their way the older generations were, and everybody's barking at them and telling them they're doing it wrong.